Good morning, everyone, and welcome to ERA's monthly direction seminar. Before we dive in, here's a quick shout out. If you haven't already, sign up as our ERA VIP. As a VIP, you will enjoy priority invites to exclusive ERA seminars like this one, early access to the latest property insights and tools, special perks curated for our VIP community. Plus, every month, 10 lucky VIPs stand to win $1,000 in travel dollars, redeemable across 12 exciting destinations in the Asia-Pacific region. Sign up now at vip.era.com.sg and be part of our growing ERA VIP community. In today's split market, private home sales are slowing while HDB prices continue to hit new highs. At the same time, more new launches are entering the scene, adding fresh pressure and complexity for buyers and sellers alike. So where does your property strategy stand? In this timely session, CEO Marcus Chu will break down what's really happening, from the reasons behind the private property pause to the rise of million-dollar flats and the ongoing debate around the 15-month wait-out rule, all to help you make smarter, more informed decisions. Before we begin, please note while every effort has been made to ensure the accuracy of the information shared today, ERA accepts no responsibility for any loss or inconvenience caused by errors or omissions. The insights, opinions, and examples presented are for informational and educational purposes only. As the property market is dynamic, we strongly encourage you to consult a trusted ERA advisor before making any property-related decisions. Let me now introduce our speaker, Mr. Marcus Chu, CEO of ERA Singapore, ERA Asia Pacific, and APAC Realty. With nearly 30 years of experience in real estate, Marcus has played a key role in shaping ERA's growth across the region. A visionary leader and a seasoned investor, he brings unparalleled insights into the evolving property landscape. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Marcus Chu to kickstart today's seminar.
Hi everyone, welcome to another series of monthly directions, your property guides by ERA. So these sessions we are going to talk about navigating the shift. How do market changes impact homeowners like you and me? So to start off, let's recall that end of last year, I did an interview with H Props that we expect 2025 to be a boom year for property. So is it true? Now that we are in almost the end of first half 2025, will this still stand? Or has the market actually shifted from positive to negative? Or from positive to more positive? So let's explore in today's monthly directions. So has the bull property market shifted? So that is the key of today's presentations. So many of today's presentations actually relates to opinions that is set by the main media, sharing with us what is the attitude of most home buyers and the property stakeholders. And one of them is NUS poll. Actually, it says that there will be potential slowdowns of global economy affecting market sentiments. So the Real Estate Sentiment Index is a poll that is developed by NUS Real Estate Department and Radars. It is a survey that is based on the sentiments of senior executives of real estate firms, and it measures their expectations of market conditions. So in first quarter 2025, there is a negative sentiment towards the property market due to the tariff. So we have seen that the market sentiments have actually dropped. All right. And once again, this is an opinions by the executive of senior real estate firms, and that's their point of view. And next is SBF survey. So SBF stands for Singapore Business Federations, and these surveys is done on businesses from every industries on their opinions of the business outlook, whether it will improve, stay on the same, or worsen. So more business expect economy to worsen over the next 12 months. So as you can see from the chart here, only 16% of the respondent expect that the economy will improve. Many says it will stay the same, but there is a rising number of businesses that expect the business sentiment to be worsened or to be worse. So let's talk about the employment outlook. So there is weaker hiring outlook, but still higher than 2024, which is a poll that is done by a recruitment firm, Manpower Group. So it is calculated by the percentage of firms who plans to cut staff. So currently, the net number stands at 24%, which is quite similar to 2024. So let's move on to the property transactions number, all right, for the month of May 2025. So for private home transactions, May 2025 is the lowest in the last 12 months. So if we look at the private transactions, which consists of new homes, resale, sub-sales, it is only about 900 transactions. Actually, this is the lowest since January 2023. And this is due to the escalating trade tensions that has already weighed down on some of the homeowners' sentiments. And there's also no new home launches in May 2025. So with no new home launches, this led to new home sales falling to their lowest since December last year. All right. So how about other segment of the market like the landed properties? All right, landed properties also witnessed the lowest landed transactions in the last 12 months amidst a mismatch in price expectations between sellers and buyer. So as you can see here, the numbers actually have fallen quite a fair bit, all right, in the month of May. And there's also fewer high-end luxury homes sold. So high-value homes that is being transacted now stands at only 23, which is for properties that is 5 million and above. That is like last 4 month low. So the question is, will the current market be shifting towards a private property market downturn? So that's the key questions. So what we have seen so far are actually the transactions that we witnessed in the month of May, and also what we have read in the media. And it says that the market sentiment isn't so good. But one thing for sure, let's reflect on opinions versus the real things that is happening in the property market scene. So history has shown that negative sentiments does not necessarily means a property market downturn. So opinions doesn't mean that it will be true. So let's take a look at historically property price index performance. Actually, the PPIs have risen despite lower sentiment from NUS poll in the past. So the most recent, which is during the high inflations that is triggered by war, we have also witnessed the NUS poll saying that there is negative market sentiment. But during that period of time, property price index actually risen quite a lot. Then if we reflect back during the Trump's trade war on China, all right, as early as 2018 all the way to 2020. All right, market sentiment is also down. However, property price index have actually gone up. So for this recent poll that shows that market sentiment is down, property price index actually has gone the other way, which is you have reason. So historically, the market tend to take a breather amidst period of volatility. So it's true that whenever there is external events and shock, the property market actually experience a knee-jerk reactions, which is why I meant taking a period of breather. So let's reflect back on the Russia-Ukraine war, and during the start of that war, the property transactions number actually has fallen. But eventually, all right, the property transactions will rise. Then how about the COVID-19 lockdown? Initially, the property transactions have fallen. But over time, property transactions continue to rise. So during the stringent 8 rounds of cooling measure that was introduced by Singapore government between 2013 to 2018, all right, property transactions have fallen initially, but eventually property transactions have also risen. So what this tells us that whenever there is bad news, poor market sentiment, the market will take a breather for a quarter or two, and eventually the market transactions will eventually pick up and rise again. So negative sentiments actually bring us opportunities. And in fact, it's not for a long period of time that you will see this. Is whenever there is uncertainty in the market, actually there is opportunity. So if we reflect back COVID-19 lockdown back in April 2020, all right, the market transactions have actually taken a breather. They have came down quite a lot. But eventually the market transactions start to, all right, pick up. And what this means to the property price. The property price will rise. So negative sentiment is not a bad thing after all. In fact, uncertainty brings us window of opportunities. And this brings me to share with you our opinions why Singapore property market will continue its bull run as per what we forecast at the end of last year, 2024, that 2025 will be a property bull run. So let me share with you 5 reasons today why. Reason number 1, strong economic fundamentals and governance. So let's put it this way. Property price growth is supported by economic growth. Won't you agree? So if our countries have positive economic growth, what it means is property price growth will be in tandem. So if we look on the year-on-year growth of property prices, as indicated by the red bar here, all right, in 2024, the overall property price growth, private property price growth is 3.9% as compared to the GDP growth of 4.4%. All right, so they move in tandem. So 2023, the property price index, private property price index growth by 6.8%, whereas GDP growth is at 1.8% here. So there you are. Every time there is GDP growth, there is property price growth. So they all grow in tandem. All right. even at a time when there is negative growth during COVID. All right, property price experience growth. So these are what we have seen over the last 8 years. So it's quite apparent that one of the big reasons why Singapore property price is still in the uptrend is because of positive economic growth year after year. So this is largely because of the strong government that Singapore has. When there is a crisis, the government has set out task force to deal with the crisis. So most recently, when the tariffs were announced, the task force was created to mitigate any trade war impact. So this will help address all the uncertainty ahead, all right, and aims to help businesses and workers to address immediate uncertainty. And of course, the government has also to continue to monitor developments closely and stand ready to do more if and when necessary. So a stable government and a business-friendly environment also help Singapore attract foreign investment. Now, Singapore is in a good position because we have strong economic fundamentals and political stability. So foreign direct investment has been steadily increasing in the midst of global uncertainty. So what is foreign direct investment? In short, FDI. So a FDI is an ownership stake in a company made by a foreign investor, company, or government from another country. More specifically, it describes a controlling ownership of an asset in one country by an entity based on another country. So why increasing FDI in Singapore even during global uncertainty? Because of a strong and stable government, a business-friendly environment, good track record, and strong economic fundamentals. And that's drive FDI in Singapore. So when there's FDI in Singapore, there are more business set up in Singapore. All right, and this investment is pouring into our countries. Our government will certainly want to create a business-friendly environment for the foreign firms to be located here. So example is Singapore Science Park and One North. And these are new constant investments to improve these business parks. So more jobs are created also means a needs for housing for the employees. Thus, some of the new developments such as Brunswick Residences was launched, and the upcoming projects known as Linderwoods will also be launching soon near all these locations. Next reason why we are still in the property uptrend is rising household incomes. So household incomes has also been increasing steadily over the past 10 years and significantly more after COVID. All right. So with average monthly employed household income rising, this is good news for property ownership. So real wage, which takes into account of inflation, has been risen since 2015. So over the last decade, higher wage have actually supported housing demand. And we have seen that happens over the last 10 years, that private property price index have gone up quite a lot. So let's put into perspective, property price growth is supported by economic and wage growth. So yes, there is a correlationship between wages, GDP, and property price growth. So with a strong economy providing jobs and wage growth, demands for property will be supported and even increase, which cause property price to rise. So it's very clear that they all move in tandem every year. So if you believe that 2025, we will experience positive economic growth and we will experience increasing wage growth again, then property price will continue to rise. Reason number 3, higher HDB prices, fewer strong demand for private homes. Now we all know that public housing in Singapore is the foundation of property ownership here in our country. So with more HDB owners upgrading, this will mean support for the private property market. So over the last 10 years, right, let's reflect back on the percentage of ownership of private property. All right. So private property known as the landed and non-landed property percentage in 2015, it's actually 22% for non-landed and 6% for landed. So in 2015, fast forward to 2024, non-landed ownership is at 24%, all right? And landed is at 5%. Means there is more ownership of condominiums, lesser ownership of landed property. But if you look at HDB ownership, all right, it was 72% 10 years ago, and right now is 71%. So what this means is more are upgrading to condo. Of course, the base is still HDB flats ownership, but more is jumping on that upgrading to private property. So HDB transactions has to be stable and strong in order for private property demands to keep rising. So let's take a look at HDB resale transactions. Seriously, HDB resale transaction has remained stable, affirming resilience of the market, which means these are genuine demands that is driving the HDB resale transactions. And as we can see, every single month, HDB transactions is about 2,000 plus resale transactions, which means annually there is at least 25,000 or so HDB transactions. And these are the potential demands for private properties every single month. So prices grow in tandem, all right, with HDB price so far. All right, we have observed that HDB price growth outpaced private home prices. Well, there's no surprise because more and more new flats have actually crossed that $1 million mark. So from the day it was bought during BTO phase to the day when it's MOP and sold in the market, most recently we have witnessed quite a lot of MOP flats in the central locations that witnesses higher transaction prices. So this drive up the HDB price index. So as you can see, at least over the last 4 quarters, every quarter the price growth is on average, all right, more than 2%. Whereas non-landed price growth, all right, every quarter it's probably about 1%. And for landed growth, every quarter, in fact, it's less than 1%. And some quarters are negative. So what this means is we see resistance in landed transaction prices and also condo prices. But for HDB prices, all right, it is still very well received by the demands. So the $1 million flats transactions have reached record high in May 2025. All right, for this month alone, there is $143 $1 million flats transacted. All right, January to May 2025, more than $600 million flats transacted. Okay, so the top 10 $1 million flats transactions in May 2025 alone, all right, it is from 1.4 million onwards. So as you can see, number 1 to number 10 for the month of May, these are the transaction prices. Well, compared to a year ago, the top 10 number of transactions in May 2024, all right, the prices is actually from 1.2 million onwards. So what I'm trying to say is that the transactions price of $1 million flats have actually risen, all right, over the last 12 months. If we go deeper into understanding the HDB transactions, all right, it's not just the $1 million flats, there is also the non-$1 million flats. And in fact, the percentage of the $1 million flats transactions is only a small proportion as compared to the overall HDB resale transactions. So it all depends on the age of the flats. So if the flats is older, usually the transaction prices are lower. But in terms of growth rates, all right, let's look at the growth rates over the last 5 years, since first quarter 2020 all the way to 2025 first quarter. For flats that is 15 years and below, all right, the HDB resale price have actually gone up by as much as 49.2%. And for flats that is age 16 to 25 years, the growth is actually 61.25%. And for flats that is 26 to 35 years old is 48.8% growth over the last 5 years. And flats that is 36 to 45 years old, the growth rate is 45%. So recently we hear from our new M&D ministers, all right, suggesting that the government may remove 15 months wait-out period when HDB resale prices moderate. Right? Yes, I think the government is in doing the right things, but I feel that the government may want to consider a more targeted approach, especially on the older flats. All right? That means removing the 15 months wait-out period only for the older flats. All right. Reason number 4 why the property price will still continue to climb amidst all uncertainty is this: proactive government regulating home supply to meet increasing demand. All right, the increasing demand from where? Of course, rising population. So is Singapore still expanding on population? The answer is definitely yes. So with rising population, does it mean that there is a need for more homes? Yes. So we all know with the declining birth rates in Singapore, Singapore will have to welcome foreigner to increase on our population. And eventually the foreigners will turn into our Singapore permanent residents and eventually new citizen. So the aim is that by 2030, the population is projected to rise to between 6.5 to 6.9 million, all right, as according to the National Population and Talent Division. So we can see that there is a need for more homes. So because of the rising population, therefore, there is a need to have more jobs creation and also more homes located near to the workplace where the jobs are created. So our urban redevelopment authorities has the foresight to plan for the CBD and its decentralization strategy in the east, in the north, and the west, besides the central location. So there are economic gateway all around Singapore for job creation, new homes, and in all around Singapore. And therefore, new housing clusters and township has also been created. And this has been planned decades earlier. Areas such as Marina South and the Upper Thomson are some of the new areas that will see more homes injected in the coming years. This is part of URA long-term urban planning strategies. Let's take a look at Marina South itself. As you can see, in 2008 master plan, the government has set aside land in the reserve list. All right, reserve list is where you see all this in yellow. These sites have carved out for white and other mixed-use home in Master Plan 2019. Do you see the transformation already? Yes, at least over the last 10 years, URA has created many changes in its master plan. Today, the first launch One Marina Garden has already been launched, and there are still many opportunities that is up and coming in all these sites that is for residential and commercial use. Now let's take a look at Lentor. All right, in Master Plan 2008, all right, Lentor is actually all zoned as residential. But in the recent Master Plan 2019, okay, as you can see, the difference in the URA urban planning. All right, so it used to be an empty plot of land zone for residential, but over the years, all this land parcel has been cut into cluster and sold to developer. And in fact, URA anticipated strong demands for home, and they were right. There was no oversupply. Now, 6 of the 7 sites, all these 7 sites, has been launched, and out of almost 3,000 units in total, there is less than 100 units left for sales now. The last sites, all right, which is awarded in April 2025 and will likely launch next year. So as you can see, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all right, they are all land sites in Lentor that used to be a vacant land here. They are now comprises of projects that is almost fully sold. Let's move on to Upper Thomson, Springleaf, which is another example of empty plots of land back then, right now, going to launch many parcel of lands that is up and coming. So let's reflect Master Plan 2008. All right, can you see that all these yellow color land parcel here, they are all reserve sites. But in Master Plan 2019, these are all marked as residential sites. And in fact, if we look closer, all right, there is development in here and here that is used to be reserve site. So right now, there's development like Upper Thomson Parcel A and the land parcel that is where the upcoming launch Springleaf Residence. So the first two plots have already been released. So with Lentor seeing so high demand, that could be spilled over to the up and coming Springleaf Residence, which will be launched in Q3 2025. And in fact, Parcel A site will be launched for developer to bid this month in June 2025. And talking about Parcel A, URA has actually changed its demands and needs. And it is no longer required to have service apartment. All right, so making this optional to developer. So you see the flexibility that URA can have on land parcel to be launched for sales to developer. All right, so they are very quick in making decisions on the land parcel that is offered for building of future homes. And there is also more BTO flats to provide affordable housings for Singaporeans. We know that HDB have also released, all right, 19,600 BTO flats in just over last year, all right, and another over 50,000 flats to be launched from 2025 to 2027. All right. So how about GLS sites in first half 2025? All right, there will be a total of 8,505 units. So in the shorter terms, the government has also released more lands for sales to have more supply of private homes. So in the first half of 2025, 10 plots yielding a total of 8,505 units will be available for developer to bid for. All right, so we have saw and witnessed that the Lakeside Drive sites have already been sold. The Telok Blangah Road site and the Dorsett site and the Upper Thomson Parcel A site is yet to be launched. The rest of the land sites has been launched. So this brings me to the next reasons why Singapore property market is still in the uptrend is the impending lowering interest rate in 2025. All right, that is expected to be on the second half of this year, and this will boost more home demands. We have already seen that in the declining T-bills rates, which signal a lowering borrowing cost environment, all right, which could lead to lower mortgage rates. And that's good news for the real estate scene, isn't it? Well, if interest rates will fall and continue to fall, this will certainly boost the demands and support higher price acceptance. So let's take a look at the correlations between interest rate versus PPI. All right, interest rate versus PPI. Whenever interest rate is falling, PPI plumb. Interest rate fall, PPI climb. So what about transactions? Transactions will actually rise when interest rate is low. So when interest rate falls, transactions will continue to be up. So when there is more demands for private homes, there is higher price acceptance. All right. And talking about higher price acceptance, upcoming new launch projects will therefore see healthy take-up rates and will set new benchmark prices again. So these are the land prices of the different regions' land sites. So from CCR to RCR to OCR, we can see that these are the land sites that has been put on sales and also awarded to developer, and also some of them have launched. All right, for RCR, these are all the launch prices. For OCR, these are the launch prices. So what are we seeing here is that the benchmark launch prices has been achieved because of higher price acceptance. And when there is new benchmark price set, land costs will be higher. So the latest GLS site, which is at Lakeside Drive, land cost hits $1,132 per square foot per prop ratio. So future launch price should be somewhere between 2005 to 2006 over at the lakesides. So if I compare that with the other OCR launch, this is quite similar to launches at Chuan Park, because the land cost of Chuan Park is about 1,200 plus, and the land site at Alta, which is at about 1,250 per square foot per plot ratio. So wouldn't this make existing launch projects like Lake Garden Residences and Sora pricing at around $2,000 per square foot a value propositions? That's actually about 20% lower than the future launch price of Lakeside Drive plot, which is only about 12 to 15 months ahead. Let's take a look at the launch in second half 2025. There will be more central area launches. All right, this in the next 6 months. It will reignite home buyers' interest and set new benchmark prices. So what's coming in second half 2025? All right, more than half of the homes are in that central locations. So these are all the homes that will be launching in the second half of 2025. And they will be launching at a price that is more than the current prices now. And therefore, it will set new benchmark prices. Already, we are seeing price gap for new and resale price widening. So widening new and resale prices provide support for resale prices. So as you can see, all right, in CCR, the price gap between new and resale currently is about 70% different. All right, whereas for RCR, all right, it's about 43.8%, and for OCR is 47.6%. So it does give support to all the resale property prices. Okay, let's talk about CCR condos, make up of majority of the pipeline launches. And I believe that CCR price will set to widen further between the new homes and resale, all right, with more launches in the coming months. All right. So CCR home price is starting to take off. All right. Since February 2025, we have seen widening of price gap between CCR and RCR Home. So as early as February, beginning of this year, all right, CCR prices is here, RCR prices is here, and OCR prices is here. But currently CCR price is here, RCR still remains about the same, and OCR about the same. So this is set to widen further as we anticipate a series of CCR launch in the second half 2025. So CCR have already hit a median price of 3,255 per square foot. So it will only be higher when the new launches enter the market in half 2025. Okay, so we believe this will continue, all right, to set benchmark prices. In that case, we miss the run in CCR properties. So are there still good value opportunity in CCR? I think there's still good opportunity in CCR. Let's take a look at the existing launch project in central area that is less than $3,000 per square foot. All right, they are the Aurea. I think these are the best value CCR new launch because they are still priced around $2,722 per square foot. Okay, you can get units in these central regions for less than $3,000, which is close or equals to RCR prices. All right, there is also units in Union Square, which is also very well priced. Okay, all below $3,000 per square foot. So, in a nutshell, Singapore properties market is still in a bull run. What are the 5 reasons? Number 1, strong economic fundamentals and governance. Number 2, rising household income. Number 3, higher HDB prices, fewer strong demands for private homes. Number 4, proactive government regulating home supply to meet increasing demand. And number 5, lowering interest rates in 2025 will boost home demand. So, do you still want more property market insights? You can actually scan on this QR code to stay updates with ERA latest blogs where we explore current issues shaping the property market. We will provide you with reliable source of market info that will help you make good sense of current issues that affect property markets. So in ERA, we have our research team that will produce a series of specially curated blogs to keep you updated, informed, and have the confidence amidst current issues that shapes the property market. So remember to scan this QR code to get full access to market intelligence. What's coming in July 2025? There are certainly more exciting things that I would like to share with you. We will be diving into Master Plan 2025 in July. There is also BTO and sales of balance flats, and second half 2025 GRS sites in detail. So stay tuned. In July 24th, ERA Realty Talk, we will unpack more details and share more insights with you. And that's round up for today's monthly directions. Thank you, and do leave us your feedback.
Thank you, Marcus, for your valuable insights. If you would like to explore the opportunities discussed today, our ERA trusted advisors are here to help you. And before you go, once again, don't forget to join us as an ERA VIP. As a VIP, you will always enjoy priority access to future seminars, market insights, and exclusive giveaways. Remember, 10 lucky VIPs win $1,000 in travel dollars every month. So sign up now at vip.era.com.sg. Stay connected with us on ERA's social media channels, and we look forward to seeing you at the next monthly direction seminar. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.